This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Now then, a video that a lot of you have been asking for in recent weeks and months is can we have some country licks? And seeing as how I've just got this rather fabulous Fender Deluxe Nashville Telecaster, and if you don't know the story behind this guitar, I've put a link to that video in the description box below. But seeing as how I've got a bit of a nice Telecaster to rattle around on, I thought it was an opportune moment to do the country licks video. Here are the licks. So there you go, various country licks that I tend to use whenever I want to invoke that style. Now, I'm not going to sit here with my hand on my heart and look you in the eye and tell you that I am a country guitar player. I'm not. But I have managed to bluff my way through this style in a few bands in the past. And what today's all about really is just sharing some of the little tips that I stumbled across when I was learning to kind of bluff my way through it. So, coming up next, we've got a little bit of a breakdown of all of the licks, but before we get into that, let's just have a little bit of an explanation. They're all played over a C major chord, and this is the first little thing that I noticed when I was starting to play country, or trying to anyway, is that you tend to play a lot more chord specific licks. You don't just kind of look at what the overall key or tonality of the song is and just dive in with the appropriate pentatonic scale. No, you kind of, like, over a C major chord, you'll play something based on a C major pentatonic. Over a G major chord in the same chord sequence, you'll go to something more G major pentatonic, and so on. And all of these licks are based around the C major pentatonic, with maybe a couple of extra notes added in to take it up to a more mixolydian kind of thing. But I don't want to kind of get into the whole mode thing at the moment. That's not what this video is about. So here is an explanation of what's going on with each of those licks. Okay, so this first lick uses a couple of open strings, the D string and the G string. So you can transpose this lick quite easily into any key which contains a D note and a G note. And for any keys which don't contain those notes, just use a capo. So what we're going to do is hammer on from the open G string to the 9th fret. And then onto the 10th fret on the D string, and you can either pick that note or you can do what I tend to do, which is just to kind of hammer onto it in a legato kind of way, like that. Then repeat that little shape 2 frets low, so you're hammering onto the 7th from the open G string, and then onto the 8th on the D string. Next, hammer onto the 5th on the open G, from the open G, and then onto the 7th on the D string, hammer onto the 3rd from the open G, and then onto the 5th on the D string, hammer onto the 2nd on the from the open G, then onto the 3rd on the D string, then open, 1st, 2nd on the D string, then 3rd, 1st, 3rd on the 5th string. And you string all that together and you get... And when you put that over the top of a C major chord with perhaps a little bit more speed behind it, it sounds like this. Okay, this next lick involves a bit of string bendiness and a bit of hybrid picking. So let me just move the camera a little bit that way so you can see what I'm doing with this hand. Right, what's happening here is we're going to bend the 8th fret G note on the 2nd string upper tone to an A. Then we're going to grab the 8th fret on the 1st string with a little finger. There it is. And you can see I'm using hybrid picking to do that. I'm getting the 2nd string note with me pick, and then I'm grabbing the top E string note with my 3rd finger on my right hand. And then I pick the bend again. Then I maintain that bend with 2 fingers and bring my 1st finger onto the 6th fret on the top E string. So I get like that lovely bit of dissonance there. And then release the bend like that, and then off to the 6th fret on the 2nd string rather, like that, and then the 7th fret on the 3rd string. I'm going to bend that just with a couple of fingers like this. Then grab the 8th fret B string note, the G, and then grab the bend again. Then off to the 6th fret with my 1st finger on the 2nd string like that. Then release the bend back to pitch, and then 5th fret on the 3rd string, the C note, to resolve it. So you get that. And once again, over the top of a C chord with a little bit more fluency and speed behind it, it sounds like this. Okay, this next one is a lick that I learned from watching an electric guitar documentary in the 1980s, and where I first saw Jerry Donahue play, and I was absolutely blown away by this little technique that he uses, which I'm going to show you now. We're going to start on the 10th fret on the D string, which is a C note, and it starts off with a relatively simple little pentatonic kind of run. Like that, just a C, D, E, onto the G note there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this note, but I'm going to do it in a particular way. Rather than kind of bending up like that, I'm going to actually pull it down. So it's reaching the A note that would be at the 14th fret. But as I bend it down, what I'm also doing is catching the B string. Okay. Now this is a B natural note, which isn't in the Mixolydian mode, but we're only kind of flitting across it briefly so we can get away with it. So that's the kind of thing. And then as I release the G string back to its original pitch, it pulls the B string up a semitone to C. So you get that, which I think is rather cool sounding. And you get that kind of thing. And complete the lick, something like that. Here's what it sounds like when played over the top of a chord with a little bit more kind of fluency and speed going on. Right, and this next lick is very much a double stop based lick, and we're using kind of almost like a blues kind of idea here, where we're going to be using the flat third onto the major third at the end of the lick. And basically what happens is we're taking this little shape here, which is the 12th fret on the 3rd string and 11th fret on the 2nd string, and it's going down to both of those strings at the 10th fret like that, and then hammering on from the 8th fret on the 2nd and 3rd strings to the 9th fret on the 3rd string, and then resolve it onto the 4th string at the 10th fret. You can see what I'm doing there. So it's that, and then just round the lick off with a little descending blues kind of thing, like. Again, taking the E flat, which is the minor third of C, and sliding it up to the E note, which is the major third, and then finishing it with a C note on top there. So here's what it sounds like with a little bit of a C chord behind it and some kind of more momentum played in the execution. Now, much like that Jerry Donahue lick that I played earlier, this one kind of emulates the sound of a pedal steel. So use your 3rd and 4th string fingers on the 10th fret on the 5th and 4th strings, and then reach back to the 7th fret with your 1st finger on the 3rd string. So you get kind of that. And then you're going to have to do a kind of downwards bend, a downwards pull like that. And you get, it kind of gives that pedal steel or B bender kind of feel. Like that, which is a sound that I love. It's just kind of, it's giving that sort of major add 9 sort of sound. Then off to the 8th fret rather on the 5th string, and then slide from the 10th to the 12th, D up to E on the 6th string, and then finish it on the note that the root note, the C note at the 10th fret on the D string. So like that, sort of. Anyway, here's what it sounds like played over the chord. And there you have it. Now, as a special treat to my Patreon supporters, I've put a jam track that's just basically 2 chords, C major and G major, alternating between the 2. There's a jam track and all of those licks tabbed out, should you need them, on my Patreon page, link in the description below. There's a lot of other benefits you get as well. For $3 a month, you get little things like this that are sort of add-ons to the add-on content to the YouTube stuff that I do. You get an hour-long monthly podcast, which is very similar to the radio show I used to do when I used to have my own radio show. And you get a solo demonstrated, I think this month or March, which will be the first month that one of those is going up. It's like a Freddie King style blues solo, all tabbed out and demonstrated, and you get a jam track for that as well. And anyone who signs up, you just need to get in contact with me and you get a free course of your choice as well. All that for $3 a month. Not bad going, I don't think. So if you'd like to support the channel, then check that out and you'll be doing me a big favour and getting a load of goodies in return. And that's pretty much it for this month, for this video, I beg your pardon. Thank you for watching, thank you so much for your time, and I do look forward to seeing you all again next time around. Bye for now, folks.